I just wanted to jump on here and kind of talk about what I've been struggling with my mother. I'm not going to make this super long, but it's not hard dealing with somebody that has mental health issues. The women in our family have all passed away from or suffered with strokes, dementia, Alzheimer's. It's a part of our family. It's what happens, and that's what's happening to her. And it's so hard to watch your family member go through that, but she's still functioning independently for herself. So it's hard when someone is still taking care of themselves and refuses to see it or acknowledge it, but then you have to deal with it. And it's trauma, it's mental abuse, it's a lot of whys. I mean, the woman sent me to years of therapy, and I don't know how many therapists I've seen growing up, but I've never been diagnosed with anything other than ADD, because I just have ADD really bad, and I think a little bit of OCD, to be honest with you. But outside of those things, I've never been diagnosed with anything like that. I've never had any of those problems, and I honestly think that she sent me to those places thinking that it was me and that they were going to tell me I was the problem, and that once I got the help, and the therapy that I needed, that we'd be good. But that's just not what it was. And although those years of therapy basically just taught me to see the trauma and mental abuse that I suffer from her, even now. My mom has had a very extensive drug addiction in her past, but it's funny because she's like the smartest person you'll ever meet. I mean, she is the smartest person I know when it comes to certain things and how to deal with them when it comes to like finances. Not so much finances, but how to work it, I guess, and, things that you need. She helped me get my student loans under control, those kinds of things. Like, she's good with that kind of stuff. But when I gave her access to all that stuff too, it kind of bit me in the ass because she's done a lot of things that people don't normally do to loved ones. And all my life I've suffered with a lot of this. I mean, I had my own addiction to deal with because I was addicted to pain meds and shit and Adderall and Ritalin at 5 years old, unbeknownst to me, because my mother would put me on these things and get the doctors to prescribe all this shit to me, and then she would take it for herself. So having me on it while she would take it, and then because she would take it, I'd go like 2 weeks without it, so I'd always be in this withdrawal problem, or this with seriously in a state of withdrawal for like every other week or every 2 weeks because of how she would put me on it, but then she would take it and I didn't have enough. It was just always a lot of abuse. And I'm also her protector though, because there is nobody else. And when she gets herself into problems where she'll literally, lose her life, I can't watch that. I can't do that. I can't turn my back on her like that. But I also know that this is what she's suffering and struggling with. So like at some point there will be a time where she can't take care of herself anymore. And it's hard to watch, but to suffer the abuse from it is even harder. And I've dealt with it for so long too, because it's needing her physical help is something that I do need. But anything that she does is, held over my head, or I'm expected to give her stuff that she wants. I mean, I remember when she moved out and it was like, Mom, take all your stuff. This is go through everything in this house and get everything that's yours, because when you come back, you're not going to take anything else from me. And I kid you not, even to this day, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and even to this day, every time she comes over, or if she'll, cause she doesn't do laundry with us, she doesn't live at my house, she doesn't stay at my house, those kinds of things. But I kid you not, every time she comes back, or she's there longer than a week, she'll start to go through everything, or she, sees something that's not a clothing item that looks like mine, because, I never go shopping, I don't have new things, oh, that's mine, that's gotta be mine, give me that. Like things that she gave me years ago, because she buys so much shit. Like she goes shopping at Goodwill or fucking 5-finger discounts, that shit. However, but she always has like new clothes. The woman spends a lot of money on clothes and shoes. And if I wear anything that looks new, it'll literally is supposed to be hers. That's hers. That's got to be hers. I mean, it's just that bad. And it's some people would probably be like, then get her the fuck out of your life. Like, what are you doing? But it's also because I know that that's what she's mentally suffering from. And that's what's happening to her. Every year, her brain gets a little worse. It gets a little worse. The other day I asked her, why did you repeat yourself? Like, she was telling a story that the way she tells it, it's like she's never told it before. And since she's been there for the last couple of weeks, this story is something that she's told at least 20 times. So I interrupted her. I was like, Mom, why are you telling us this story like you never told it to us before? you repeat yourself a lot. Do you not, just trying to get her to understand, like, your brain is kind of getting foggy here, Mom. Like, these are things you need to be aware of. Just trying to talk to her like I'm talking to the fucking phone now. And she paused and she goes, oh no, it's y'all. I only repeat myself because I don't know if y'all are paying me no attention. You usually have your back turned to me. So, like, when I talk, no one's looking. So, like, I repeat myself. It's because it's y'all's fault. I mean, like, that's such gaslighting and manipulation. Even something as small as that. And then after all the trauma that she's actually done to me my whole life, like, I mean, really bad things. Like, a lot of bad things that I've never considered or would ever do to anybody. I've never done anything to my mother. Like, to be frank with you, as far as, like, what you can say someone's done to you or what you have suffered from because of someone else's decisions or mistakes or whatever, I've never done that to her. I've always just wanted a mother. And I think my mom only looks at me for, like, competition. Like, I'm the stepping stool, how she can use me for what I have, but then I never do anything for her. Even if she has to steal it from me, she will, and she does not care, and then she won't acknowledge it, and then I'm the big fat liar, and I'm the problem. I'm the one that's caused all the family drama. I have the issue. I'm psycho. I need to get help. And it's funny because everything that I say to her, like any problem that I have with her, anything I try to reason with her on or talk about, she takes exactly everything I say like I didn't just say it, and then turns around and says it to me like you just need to look at yourself. Like, you can't take all of my words and the things that I'm saying to try to get you to understand what you're doing and then use those words like I didn't just say them. Like they're going to have some profound effect on me, because that's the problem. And it's like, that's not realistic.